Good evening, everyone. We have a special Finance Committee meeting tonight. It's June 26, 2023 at 5:35 in the Nashua North School Boardroom. I'll take the roll. Paula Johnson, present. Ms. Brown? Present. We have a quorum. We also have Ms. Raymond here taking minutes, Mr. Donovan, and Dr. Andrade here at the meeting. Okay, so we have the continuation of the FY23 year-end forecast. Mr. Donovan, if you can explain this to us, thank you.
Okay, so I passed out to you the forecast that I finished today. This has been kind of a crazy time to get everything done, but if you recall at the last Finance and Ops meeting, I said I would try to update where we stood 3 weeks ago, so we could get a sense of what the excess was going to be. So I do have data through last week's payroll, which includes the teacher 26 lump sum payroll, which is obviously a big number. And even though the system is still open for a few more days, there'll be more costs coming through. I've updated the forecast. Now, if you look on the back page of the long sheet that I gave you, it's showing $2,397,000 of extra. Now, like I said, it's a forecast, so I wouldn't attempt to spend every dime of that. But based on what I did, I updated it today. Then I went back and compared this forecast to the one that I presented about 3 weeks ago. And mainly there are two areas where the number is increased. One is in the labor. I had a higher number for the teacher lump sum that was actually paid. So it looks like that will be slightly less than my original estimate. And I was adding the 7/6 payroll, but I only need to add 1 day of the 7/6 payroll, and I won't get into all the details of why that is, but basically speaking with the city controller, it'll be 1 day. So that also reduced our labor costs for this fiscal year. So the savings there is about $260,000, or the estimate is lower by $260,000 than it was 3 weeks ago. And the other area was in the professional and technical services on account 53452, staffing services. I had placed a rather large number in there last time of about $400,000. It looks like that number is going to be only about $230,000 or so. So there's a savings of $300-some-odd thousand there. So if you take those two numbers and add it to my previous estimate, you'll get closer to the number that I estimated back 3 weeks ago. There's always changes, small changes, but those are where the significant ones are. So based on that amount, I put together a sheet, one-page sheet that you have in front of you. And I have listed here a few items that we would like to spend these funds on. So just quickly to summarize them, if you take a look at the third one down, the cooling tower, that was approved by the Finance and Ops Committee last meeting. We didn't have the funds available, but we approved it, so that is that $168,000. $300,000 is for boilers at Main Dunstable and Birch Hill. If we can use some of these funds to pay for the boilers, that will allow the project that is in JSSBC more money to take care of some other issues. So I spoke to Mr. Smith, and he said we should be able to get an invoice for that because we'll have to do it quite soon. And then the one right below that, $182,908, that is for all the security work at those two schools, MD and Birch Hill. In the budget, they only had $100,000. And to get those schools after the renovation to the same level as all the other schools, it's going to be $282,000. So this would make up the difference. So that's where most of the dollars are in this. And the other thing is we need to get purchase orders done like immediately so that it'll hit this year. And I think we can get the purchase orders to these 3 vendors. We know the amounts. We know what we can do there. The other items listed here, Clean Harbors, which is just $5,000. That's to move, the labs at the high school have hazardous materials from their experiments and things that needs to be disposed of correctly. So they didn't get that in their budget this year, so I suggest we take care of that. The next item down is an item I got from Mr. Posca. It's called the Learn Platform, and he had a request for that. We have a quote in place. And the next 2 items below that are for clarinets and furniture at that's not FMA, it's FMS, so that they can have the same library furniture that they have at PMS. So that's what that is. And I do have here the chairs for the boardroom that was brought up last time. That would probably have to be done on an escrow because I don't think we're going to be able to get the chairs picked out and purchased in the next 2 days, which these other items will have to do. So adding up those items, and sorry, I skipped the top couple. ROTC needed some clothing. They do a great job. They don't spend a lot of money. I'm not sure if we can get that done. If we can, I'd like to be able to do it. Depends on if Sergeant Ellis is available tomorrow. And then the World History book subscription, we talked about that before. That's where we bought the books at the high school. They showed up. They were flimsy. The history teachers did not like them. So we returned them, and we got a credit. But the credit, what they want to do now is use a subscription, so it'll be an online kind of book. And this would be for over a period of years. So that's what the extra $30,000 is. And then I suggest we take about $500,000, and that would have to go through the escrow too for deferred maintenance. So in total, it's $1,280,000. There potentially could be more money. You could suggest we could have a discussion on more, but this was just I thought we'd start with it because specifically we do need approvals tonight from the board, especially if we're going to get purchase orders on these larger items.
Okay, my question is, so if we have more money, we're giving it back to the city where we have all this deferred maintenance, so he can just spend the money whichever way he wants, and then we still have to have all this deferred maintenance? Or can we kind of keep it here so we can get some work done once and for all?
For deferred maintenance, we can request a higher number than this.
Okay.
They certainly can do that. Keep in mind that will have to go through the escrow process, which happens in sort of August, September, and the Board of Aldermen would have to approve that, but there's nothing saying that you couldn't request it.
Because I'm one of these people, send it back to lower our taxes, but they don't do that. They take the money and they spend it elsewhere on projects that a lot of people don't care about or don't want, and then our tax bills are still going up. And with piecemealing these schools, and we have a lot of deferred maintenance. I want to say to everybody in the boardroom here tonight at the meetings, I hope we're going to have some nice new chairs, because these are, 20 years old? And they really have seen better days, and maybe we can donate these to some organization that needs some chairs. But I'm glad I was able to put this through finally, and also the Santa Life with the schools out there. So I feel I've gotten something done. Ms. Brown, do you have any questions?
No, actually, I did have one. How much time will we have once we finalize the year-end budget to make a decision if we wanted to add a few more items before we,
Well, we have to cut purchase orders probably tomorrow for the specific items. So that's why I only listed things here that we'd have an actual invoice in place.
right?
You can request other items via the escrow process.
Okay.
And if they get approved, they get approved. If not,
So we did look at Mr. Smith's deferred maintenance project list recently. Ms. Johnson, would you be interested in adding another $200,000 to the deferred maintenance escrow?
I don't have a problem with that if we can do that.
All right, I'll make that motion. I move to edit the deferred maintenance escrow to $700,000.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No one opposed? Motion carried.
To 700.
700.
And then I guess I'll move to approve the FY 2023 year-end spend requests as presented
Yes.
with the additional $200,000 added to the deferred maintenance escrow budget.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Motion carries. Okay, anything else?
that's all I have for tonight.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Okay.
Or second? Sorry.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. And we're adjourned at 5:47. Thank you.